Today's Diana Prince is Danitza Borges. Danitza is the founder of ELYS Legacy Management, which is a platform she brought to fruition in 2023 and has been her brainchild since 2017. Her life has been nothing short of extraordinary. She has overcome childhood trauma. She's worked as a correctional officer. She's owned a Kuman Learning Center and has provided counseling as a clinical sexologist. Today, Danitza is here to talk about the importance of legacy. Danitza, thank you for joining me on Diana Prince to talk about legacy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure.
Wonderful. I wanted to talk to you about your platform first, because I really want to just put the context out there for our listeners and our watchers. Can you give us a little background about the ELYS Legacy Management System? I was pretty blown away when we talked about it a few months ago.
Thank you. I'm so happy it blew you away. It seems to be blowing a lot of people away. It's the first of its kind. It's called ELYS Legacy Management. And what we do is we are in the business of legacies. We are a 1 in 400 trillion miracle to even be born. And so I definitely wanted to make sure that people are remembered. I find that grief can be one of the most painful emotions that we could ever experience. So what ELYS does, it allows our clients to leave messages of any sort, videos, music, documents, any type of messages that you would like to leave to as many people as you would like to leave them to. And you schedule dates. And my business makes sure that your messages are released per the dates after you pass away. So, for instance, imagine getting a Merry Christmas from your mother who has passed away. And to me, that would be the best gift on Christmas morning, knowing that someone took the time to leave you a message to make sure that you're healing and that you move on with your life in such a better spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what's amazing about that particular platform, because when we talked a couple months ago, I did share with you that my brother passed away and no one got to say goodbye to him. So it really resonated with me on how valuable that particular platform is. But I want to bring it, I want to just focus a little bit more just on legacy in general for today. Just a quick question for you as a woman. When did you start thinking about your own legacy? I know for myself, it was like I rolled out of bed at 50 and it was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that could be an eye opener. That 50, yeah, it's not good. I actually had it much younger. I was in law enforcement and I was working in a prison setting, which is already a very dangerous work environment. And I was involved in a melee, which means so many inmates start to attack each other. And myself and another female, we looked at each other and it seemed like forever, but it was only 2 to 3 minutes. And we actually had to box our way out of the situation. And I remember going home that night thinking, okay, I am a single parent. I don't have a large family. And if something would have happened to me, what would have happened to my son? And that was a very, very big eye opener for me. And as my son got older, when he was leaving off to college, I became an empty nester, and that's when it really hit.
Yeah.
That's when it really hit, and that was probably in my mid-40s. But unfortunately, you're not guaranteed a time frame. It can happen anytime.
And it takes something like that to realize the fact that time is limited. Our lives here are shorter than we think. And for me, 50 was pretty much it. And same realization. It's the realization that that mortality of our mortality. And at 50, a lot of women go through that. It's literally, it's like night and day, the perspective changes and everything like that. So when we look at our own legacies as women, one thing that, where we kind of go into into a similar kind of narrative. You with the legacy, obviously we want to be able to make sure that we keep our loved ones, make a connection with our loved ones in case something, God forbid, happens to us. From my standpoint, with the portrait photography, what I have realized is, in my journey as a portrait photographer, I did family portraiture for a while. I did event photography for a while, and one thing that I noticed is when I was doing the family portraiture, obviously, women want to get their kids photographed every year. And when you try to get a woman be in front of the camera instead, it becomes a challenge because, they'll go through a list of excuses why they can't be photographed. And what they're not thinking at that moment in time, at that time where they have their kids right there in the studio, and they don't want to participate in that photo shoot, is the fact that the importance of their legacy to their children down the road.
Completely
I'm
agree.
always intrigued by at what point does a woman now become aware that, she's not going to be around forever. And the other piece of it is that all of us are on this earth, and we have and we have to, I think, step into and own that we exist here. And that means that we have a legacy to leave. And we have to step into that light to leave that legacy. So from my standpoint in my business is I want to change the narrative for women to step into that spotlight and own their existence in this world, acknowledge their existence in this world so that they do leave a legacy. You ask a woman, a mom, I get a lot of excuses. No, this is about my children. I'm only here to photograph them, and they're the most important ones. You ask a single woman, well, what do I need to leave a legacy for? I don't have children. So it's like flip flop. But the importance of legacy exists for all of us. And I'm wondering if you had any similar experiences like that when you talk to women, especially with this platform. Have you gotten any resistance from women
I have.
specifically?
I think the biggest disservice we have as a woman is not stepping into our own, not acknowledging our worth. We're the nurturers, we're the backbone of the family. We multitask on a daily, on an hourly, constantly. And I think we have normalized, well, that's just, as women, that's just what we do. That's just the norm. It is the norm, but it needs to be recognized. So when I have women who are saying, well, I'm not ill yet, I'm not sick yet, it doesn't take that. It takes a drunk driver. It takes a fluke. It takes a plane crash. It takes any of the X factors, the unknowns. And what I tell my females is, I need to measure your worth because you are here. You are already this miracle on this planet. And I think sometimes as women, we forget that. We spotlight our significant others, we spotlight our children, and sometimes it's uncomfortable to put the spotlight back on us.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, most of us are not trained to have the spotlight on us. I think it's lovely that you do photography, and I hope every woman after hearing this puts the spotlight on themselves. It's that one-time moment. That's the importance
That
of it.
one-time
It's that
moment. So is it fair to say, based on your response, ELYS, it's marketing right now, right? So is it fair to say that you're getting more men that are jumping onto it and just getting it off the bat? Or is it
actually, I'm getting more women.
more women? Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I'm getting more women just because we're really marketing to everyone here, but ELYS also has something called the hot button,
Mhm.
which is an alert system for majority of women for those what if situations. Why it seems to be resonating with women is because the way I am explaining it, that I need them to leave a legacy. We have people who have cancer, who are ill, who their children are going to need to hear from them. So for instance, in your scenario
Mhm.
with your photography, if there is a woman in behind the camera and it's like, oh, no, I don't want to take that photo, I say, if something was to happen at this very, very moment when you walk out of my studio or you walk out of my office, I want your child to know your face, your love for him or her at this very, very moment.
Yeah.
And I mean, the impact of that, that's what's important. The love that your child feels at that very moment, and you can capture it as a photographer.
Yeah,
How
that's a good
lovely and
point.
beautiful.
One of the things that I always say is your kids are going to ask for photos of you. Those babies grow up to be full grown adults and they want to know who that woman that raised them was. At 20, at 25, all of a sudden you become this full blown human being to them and they're curious. But that's a really good point. The other piece of, in terms of, you're not going to be here forever, but the photographs will be there forever. And we don't think of that enough as women. I'm glad, although tragically it was with my brother, and also what was funny, and it said that all happened when I turned 50 that same year.
Right.
So if one didn't get me,
Light
then
bulb
I was
moment.
punched in the
Light bulb
face on
moment.
the other one. So legacy is hugely important, and I don't have children of my own, but I do think of it. And just a quick question for you: it's like you went through that experience at the correction facility. When you think of your legacy, what do you want? You have one child, right?
One son,
Yeah,
yes.
one son,
One
right?
son.
So what do you want him to remember you as? Like, have you really thought of what part of you do you want him to remember specifically? Your bravery,
I
anything?
think I think there are certain aspects and certain components in your life. Like I believe my son will remember the football mom always at the football games and practices and completely devoted to his athletic abilities. I think that's a part of it. And I think that's why ELYS is so important too, is
Mhm.
because there's certain chapters in your life that you really want to encompass. For myself, I want my son to really inhibit that his mother cared about humanity. That is my legacy to the world. It's my child, but also to the world, that when I leave this planet, that I did something amazing for it. That I wanted people to understand that you're supposed to know grandmother and your family and friends, because we're all connected. We don't just get to drop off the planet and
Yeah.
not leave something behind, a word of kindness, a memo, a letter, a recipe. How many of us are mothers or females and came from, and our grandmothers or sisters or gave us some type of recipe? Women have, we gravitate towards the kitchen. And can you imagine those moments being captured? A
Yeah.
video of a group of women being captured, a photograph of a group of women being captured, and you get to hand that down from generation to generation.
Yeah. And all you could put all that in your app, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
We
It's
have it in, we have an app as well as on the website. So
yeah.
it's always available.
Wow, that's fantastic. I one thing that I want to do is we have Black Friday season. Actually, let me back up. One more question before you even go into that one. So, for
Sure.
any woman out there that's listening and who aren't thinking
Yes.
about their legacy, what would you tell them right now?
There's no guarantees.
Okay.
There's no guarantees. We have no guarantees tomorrow. Leave something for your family now, because you have no idea what it will mean to them. Make that choice.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, with that, I'm going to segue into the Black Friday offerings. Do you have anything that you want to promote on this podcast today?
I would love, thank you so much. That's very kind, and I'm extremely humbled to be here. I would, because we launched this year, it was 5 years in the making. It took me 5 years to build this. It's a labor of love. We are offering every person who signs up a $4.99 a month, grandfathered in for the rest of your life. The price will never go up. It will include two pillars, which is the ELYS Legacy Management, where you can leave all types of memories behind. We have very well partnered with AWS in regards to storage and our security. So there's no need to worry or fret about that. We also have the ELYS Hot button, which will be a button that you can download onto your phone. In case of any emergency, you can just hit the button, leave a 1-minute message. Nothing happens, no harm, no foul. Just suspend or cancel the message, and it's there for your ready. We are offering it for $4.99. You go into our website, you plug in You Matter 2023,
Mm-hmm.
and you're set and ready to go.
Wonderful. I'll make sure to add the link to the bottom of the podcast and the bottom of the video so everybody can just go and click that link. Danitza, thank you so much for being on
Oh,
Diana
my
Princess
pleasure.
Next Door. You are truly a Diana Prince. I'm telling you.
Oh, thank
Oh
you.
my
Thank
goodness.
you. I'm so honored.
Yeah, I got
I'm in a group of beautiful and amazing women.
so thank you. Thank you for joining me here today and have a great day.